Alrighty, guys. Good morning to you all here. It is July 15th, 2025 here on this lovely Tuesday, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. This is probably going to be a pretty lengthy video here. There's a couple of housekeeping things I want to go over with you guys really quickly. I have been seeing a lot of crappy comments in the videos. I know it's social media. I know it's hurricane season. It's going to happen every single time, but there's a lot of just negativity about people saying that what I'm saying on saying in my videos is false information and stuff like that. If you guys do not believe me, you can check all the models, all the data that comes in from the National Hurricane Center. Tropical Tidbits is the website I use for my model forecasting. It's what comes from the National Weather Service offices, as well as our hurricane intensity models and all of that stuff. It's all legit real information coming in real time. I just explain it to you guys. So if you don't like what I say or you don't believe what I'm saying, you can check it out for yourself. All of this stuff is used in my videos. It's easy to find, easy to see. Also, we'll be doing live streams talking about stuff in real time as well. So if I do see negativity in the comment section, I'm more than likely going to just start blocking people. So, or removing comments and blocking people, because it just doesn't need to be needed. There's a lot of false information outside of my platform that's going on from people that don't even do weather content. So it's really frustrating because every single year during hurricane season, we got to battle those people because they just don't know what they're talking about. They don't do weather content for a living, and they definitely aren't in meteorology school, unlike I am. So just be weather aware what you guys see out there in the social media realm of things. There's a lot of people saying that Dexter's already been named and it's already a hurricane. More than likely right now, as we're waking up this morning, this may not even become a tropical named system. It's really struggling right now, and there's already people on social media right now saying that it's a hurricane, and it's not. So you guys can check all that updates, nhc.com, tropical tidbits, pivotal weather, all the websites I use for my forecasting. Check that out if you don't believe me, and we'll go ahead and kind of dive into what we're seeing here right now. As of yesterday, I was not able to do a live stream. We'll have live stream coverage today because we also have severe weather today. I had a lot of stuff going on trying to fix some stuff with streams and all that stuff. So we'll be back at this here today. Good news is not a lot of things changed with our system, other than you can see there is a little bit of a tight spin here with our system here. It is still an Invest 93L, basically meaning it's not a tropical depression. It's not a tropical storm. This Invest will more than likely be making quote unquote landfall in western or eastern side of Florida here in the next couple of hours. What it's going to do, and a lot of models have changed over the last couple of hours here since we did our update yesterday, and that's really with showing more of a weaker trend with a weaker system here. So basically what I mean is the odds of us getting a tropical storm right now are very, very low, just given what we're seeing with the models, we're seeing with the shifting of our system here, more of a northwesterly shift than a southwesterly shift like we were seeing yesterday morning, which is going to pull this thing more inland here, keep it closer to land, just give it less time to potentially develop here. Now, there still are a couple of models out there, a couple of guidances that are showing a little bit of a southerly pull. If that were to happen, we get a low that redevelops south once this crosses back over into the Gulf here later on this afternoon into tomorrow morning. We could see a tropical storm still develop. I don't think this is going to be a hurricane. I think that's pretty much kind of off the table right now, but we still could get a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm, a low-end tropical storm before this makes landfall again somewhere either in southern Louisiana or southern Mississippi or along the panhandle of Florida here. So it's still a lot of uncertainty. The National Hurricane Center has upgraded this to a 40% chance of development within the next 7 days, 40% chance in the next 2 days. So 40-40 odds here. It's still a pretty decent shot of seeing a system be named here, but right now, very, very small scale event here with a low pressure system. You can kind of see it just off the coast here of eastern side of Florida, just south of Jacksonville, and this will, like I said, come inland later on. The biggest total, or the biggest issue with this threat, guys, even as far as Louisiana, is going to be the heavy rainfall. We could see rainfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour across Florida today, as well as up into southern Louisiana. It's going to be a very, very heavy rainfall event, regardless of if this storm develops. And that's the thing that we're really trying to get people to know is, if you guys have been paying attention to the flooding across everywhere else in the United States over the last 2 weeks, this is going to be another big flooding event. It's going to cause some problems, especially in Louisiana, as we get toward the end of the week here. And we'll be live each day covering this in real time, giving you guys weather updates, all that stuff, etc. But you can see just a lot of convection start trying to initiate on the southern side of this low, but there's just not a lot of convection on the northern side of the low due to dry air as well as shear. We've got a trough up to the north here that's kind of ripping this thing apart on the north side. So regardless of how this looks now, we'll keep an update on this. We'll keep you guys updated as we go through the videos the next couple of days, as well as in streams. Right now, we will be, like I said, streaming each day and going forward with this. I'll show you guys some shipping guidance models here. This is just our update with some of our hurricane models. And yesterday, we had a lot of these models kind of placed out here, making more of a southerly track here. Not that still couldn't happen. It's more of a lower possibility. A lot of our models are pretty much in agreement that this is going to go back out to the ocean here in the Gulf, and then there will be about a 24 to 36 hour window where this could develop into a named storm before making landfall somewhere in southern Louisiana on Thursday evening, maybe going into Friday morning here. And then after that, we'll be watching this thing as it goes remnant low up into the southeast here. So just the biggest story is going to be the heavy rainfall. There will be an isolated occasional tornado threat here and there as that low moves west here, but just really not an organized system as of right now. And that can change. We'll keep you guys updated because it definitely can change for sure. But the biggest thing we're going to be talking about as well is going to be the flooding, and we'll get to those rainfall totals here. This is our WPC map. This is our day 4 outlook here as this storm comes inland on day 4, basically looking at Thursday into Friday here. And we've got a moderate risk for flash flooding here, level 3 out of 4, just like we saw in Texas the last couple of days and in the last week into New Mexico and the Pennsylvania yesterday. Same risk zone here. Wouldn't even rule out a high risk if some of our PWAT values go up. We've been seeing some of these in the 2.5 to 3 inch range, which is very, very high rainfall rates here when we're looking at model forecasting. So if you are in Louisiana, especially here getting into southern Mississippi, you need to be watching this very, very closely. Potentially already getting sandbags ready to go for some people. I've seen those reports already that sandbags are being filled up for people down along the coast there. So storm surge not going to necessarily be an issue. The wind may not be an issue, but the heavy rainfall that's going to come with this system because it's so slow moving is what the issue is going to be. And we could see rainfall rates as high as maybe a foot or higher if some of these models trend. So we'll talk more about that here and what that looks like here in just a second. The second thing that I want to talk about is going to be what we're seeing today with severe weather. We have a level 3 enhanced risk today. So not only are we watching the tropics, we're watching severe weather over the next couple of days here. Severe weather is going to make a big return, especially going into next week into the upper plains, the upper Midwest, the upper Ohio Valley, where we could see some derecho-like setups return, those big windbag events that produce those 100-plus mile-an-hour winds most times than not. We're going to have a jet stream that's going to be very favorable for that. We're going to have extreme instability values next week as well, pushing 5,000-plus joules per kilogram. We've seen some of the European model runs pushing 9 and 10K joules per kilogram over the last couple of days up in the high plains for next week, which is just, I've never seen those values before. So something we'll be watching out for here over the next couple of days. But a marginal risk down here into southern Arizona, another marginal risk that extends from basically Minnesota, Wisconsin, back up through the high plains, back into the Rockies here, and then back through the central plains here. Level 1 risk out of 5 in the dark green. Everybody else in the light green here is in a light thunderstorm risk here. Something to be mindful of here. We've also got a slight risk here into portions of Wyoming with a slight risk extending down from Wisconsin and into the central southern plains for damaging winds. Today's threat will mostly be damaging winds in excess of up to 70 miles per hour. If you are in that enhanced risk here in Nebraska, we do have the threat for winds up to 75 plus miles per hour here. We're also going to have the threat for an isolated tornado threat as well as a hail threat, tornado risk in 2 areas today: northwestern Wisconsin, eastern portions of Minnesota here, and getting into portions of Nebraska and South Dakota. 2% tornado risk with the wind threat today also being a 70 or a up to 75 miles per hour in that hatched area there. So basically far extreme southern South Dakota and getting into Nebraska here, we have winds that could exceed 75 miles per hour in that hatched enhanced risk there with a 30% SIG. Outside of that there, 15 and 5% for winds up to 70 miles per hour. For everybody else, 60s in the marginal there down in Arizona. Hail threat also today at 15 and 5%. You guys might also hear my cat scratching in the background. She's trying to get in, so I'll get her in just a second. But looking at that slight risk for wind and hail today as well, or not for wind, but for hail today, up to 15 and 5% risk zones for hail up to 2 inches in diameter. So we'll be watching this very, very closely for today. We've also got a marginal risk and a slight risk for tomorrow that extends from basically Michigan all the way back down here into the plains again, as we see this big area of troughing that's going to set up, allowing for damaging winds to be the primary threat for tomorrow. Tomorrow's 2% tornado risk is from southern Wisconsin up through northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. So be weather aware for an isolated tornado risk for tomorrow. Wind threat at 15 and 5% for winds up to 70. And then we also have a hail threat at 5% across the Rockies tomorrow. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. And then for the first time in, I don't know how long it's actually been, we don't have a risk zone on day 3. This is just a general thunderstorm risk. So I wouldn't be shocked for a marginal risk to pop up somewhere on the day 3 outlook. But as of right now, we don't have any severe weather across the United States forecasted on day 3. But I think there may be something that we've got to watch down here on the Gulf with that low coming in. We could get some tropical bands moving in with possibly an isolated tornado risk. So we'll see what SPC does on that there. But as of right now, no day 3 forecast. But then going through next week, we are going to see potentially return of severe weather going into the end of next week. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have anything on the day 4 through 8 outlook, but we'll keep you guys updated on that if anything changes. I do want to run over what's going to happen today just briefly in a nutshell here. We'll talk more about this on stream. We'll be doing a stream here pretty much an hour or two after I post this video for you guys. But supercells will be firing off here around 3 to 4 o'clock this afternoon across the South Dakota here up into Minnesota, getting up into western Wisconsin. Initially, these are going to become discrete, where we could have an isolated tornado threat even all the way up here into Minnesota and Wisconsin. But quickly, these are going to grow upscale. After around 6 to 7 p.m. tonight, we'll grow upscale. We'll have a Boeing line segment moving through Nebraska and South Dakota, where we could see winds in excess of 75 miles per hour today. We'll be watching out for that very, very closely here. And then we'll be watching this drift eastward here into Iowa and southern Minnesota and Wisconsin through the overnight hours as it weakens and becomes pretty much just general thunderstorms. So large hail and an isolated tornado risk for both regions today to start, and then we'll see that grow upscale into a line of storms as the overnight hours progress, and then we'll talk about tomorrow later on as well in tomorrow's video. I do want to give you guys another update on just something really, really important here, just talking about our future here in severe weather. This is a CSU guidance model run. This is from Colorado State University. Kind of gives us an idea of what we could see severe weather-wise in the future. And you can see where we're at right now at our average line at 0, seeing this potentially increase moving up as we go into next week. Be watching the last week of July here, third and fourth week of July here for the potential uptick in severe weather across a more widespread area going into the Midwest and the upper plains. Still a little bit of model disagreement on what's going to happen next week, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. And this is also the week 2 supercell composite. Just gives us an idea of where we could see that sporadic severe weather. And right now, a lot of these models and guidance is going more towards the northern Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, the upper plains, and getting into the high plains going into the July 22nd through July 28th period. So this is over 7 days out. We'll watch it. We'll keep you guys updated, but I wanted to show you guys a graphic here to kind of give you guys an idea of what our jet stream is going to do as we go into next week. One more thing I'll show you guys here. We'll just talk about the rainfall totals. I'll go more into what our jet stream is going to look like into next week in the stream today and in tomorrow's video when I've got a little bit more time. But here's just a rough estimate of rainfall through the next 5 to 7 days here. We can see most heavy rainfall across the Ohio Valley as we see training of thunderstorms through next week. It's going to be a very active week in the Ohio Valley going through this week and into the end of the weekend here, where we'll see the threat for some pretty significant heavy rainfall potentially. So we'll have to watch that through Illinois, Kentucky, and down into the Carolinas and Tennessee. And then we'll also be watching down here along our tropical system where we could see as high as, maybe 5 to 10 inches of rainfall down in southern and central Louisiana. We'll get a better total of those numbers as this system moves with time, as we get an update on the track of this system. It's all dependent on where the track goes, where the convection sets up at, and where, the low officially moves to, and we'll kind of go from there. So that's what I've got for you guys. We'll have live stream coverage here in just a little bit. I appreciate y'all for watching this. Let's be respectful in the comments. Remember, if I see anything in comments, I'm going to mute it and block it, guys. I don't have negativity in my videos. This is a safe space to get reliable weather information. I've been doing this weather coverage for a very, very long time, almost 8 years in the making now, and I'm pretty good with some of this stuff. So we'll keep you guys updated as always. I appreciate y'all for the love as always as well, and we'll see you guys in the next one.